Why New Zealand is thriving in 2025. In 2025, New Zealand continues to stand out as one of the most attractive countries to live in, offering both economic strength and a high quality of life. Several key factors explain why it remains a thriving and resilient nation. 1. Stable and resilient economy. New Zealand has weathered global economic challenges with steady GDP growth, supported by strong sectors such as agriculture, renewable energy, tourism, and technology. This stability provides a solid foundation for both businesses and individuals. 2. High quality of life. Citizens and residents benefit from world-class healthcare, an accessible education system, and a strong social safety net. International quality of life surveys consistently place New Zealand among the best countries to live in. Number 3, natural resource wealth. New Zealand's fertile farmland and commitment to sustainable agriculture make New Zealand a global leader in dairy, meat, and wine exports. Additionally, abundant renewable energy sources, especially hydropower and geothermal in particular, help keep energy costs relatively low and sustainable. 4. Growing innovation and tech sector. New Zealand has invested heavily in technology and innovation, with thriving industries in agri-tech, clean energy, and digital solutions. This diversification reduces reliance on traditional exports and creates new, high-paying job opportunities. Number 5. Strong global trade connections. New Zealand's free trade agreements across the Asia-Pacific region ensure reliable export markets and attract foreign investment. This openness keeps the economy competitive and outward-looking. 6. Environmental leadership. With its clean energy goals and ecotourism initiatives, New Zealand has positioned itself as a leader in sustainability. Protecting its environment not only attracts tourists, but also drives future economic growth in green industries. Finally, number 7. Safety, stability, and welcoming culture. Low crime rates, transparent governance, and inclusive immigration policies make New Zealand one of the safest and most welcoming countries for families, workers, and investors alike. Would you consider visiting New Zealand in the future? Or have you visited in the past? Please share your experiences below. Thank you for liking and sharing this video.
Pre-Columbian history of the Philippines. Before the arrival of Western colonizers, the Philippine archipelago was already a flourishing network of autonomous barangays, villages, and sultanates. Austronesian people migrated to the islands as early as 3000 BCE. According to historylearning.com, the Austronesians are Austronesian-speaking people who have been found to populate areas in Southeast Asia, Oceania, and East Africa. These include Taiwanese Aborigines and most people on smaller islands such as Micronesia and Melanesia. There are various theories that explain their spread across the world, including the out-of-Taiwan model, but the Austronesian expansion theory builds on this to specifically attempt to explain the populating of the Philippines. According to the theory proposed by Peter Bellwood, professor of archaeology and anthropology at the Australian National University, the Austronesians traveled into the Pacific 6,000 years ago from the Chinese mainland. First, they reached areas in and around China, which they managed to populate by 3,500 BC. After this, they began to travel further, and it was just 500 years later that they managed to reach the Philippines. These early Filipinos had complex societies based on trade, agriculture, and kinship. They established trade routes with neighboring regions such as China, India, and the Malay archipelago. By the 10th century, the islands were already part of regional trade networks, as evidenced by Chinese records referring to a place called Mai, believed to be Mindoro. The indigenous peoples developed scripts like Baybayin and practiced religions including animism, Hinduism, and Islam. In the south, the sultanates of Sulu and Maguindanao emerged in the 15th century, and were significant Muslim political entities with strong regional influence. Colonization and the Spanish era, 1565 to 1898. Ferdinand Magellan arrived in the Philippines in 1521, marking the beginning of Spanish interest in the archipelago. Formal colonization began in 1565 with Miguel López de Legazpi's expedition. Spain ruled for more than 300 years, naming the islands Las Islas Filipinas in honor of King Philip II. Spanish colonization brought Christianity, which now remains the dominant religion, as well as the introduction of European-style governance, education, and architecture. However, Spanish rule also saw harsh treatment of the local population, forced labor, and the exploitation of resources. Despite repression, Filipino resistance grew over centuries, culminating in the Philippine Revolution of 1896, led by figures like Andres Bonifacio and Emilio Aguinaldo. American period, 1898 to 1946. After the Spanish-American War, Spain ceded the Philippines to the United States through the Treaty of Paris in 1898. The U.S. introduced public education, infrastructure projects, and democratic institutions, but also faced resistance in the form of the Philippine-American War, 1899 to 1902, resulting in significant Filipino casualties. American governance transitioned the country towards self-rule with the establishment of the Commonwealth of the Philippines in 1935 under President Manuel L. Quezon. However, World War II interrupted this progression. In addition, Japan invaded and occupied the Philippines during World War II. The occupation was brutal, with atrocities like the Bataan Death March and the Battle of Manila, which left thousands dead. Filipino guerrillas and the Allied forces eventually liberated the islands in 1945. Independence. On July 4, 1946, the Philippines gained full independence from the United States. Manuel Roxas became the first president of the newly independent Republic of the Philippines. The post-war era saw reconstruction efforts, although political instability and corruption often hindered development. One of the most tumultuous periods in Philippine history was under President Ferdinand Marcos, who declared martial law in 1972. His rule was marked by human rights violations and massive corruption. Marcos was eventually overthrown in 1986 through the People Power Revolution, ushering in a new democratic era led by President Corazon Aquino. The Philippines is rich in natural resources. It is one of the world's top producers of nickel, copper, and gold. Its agricultural products include coconuts, rice, bananas, and pineapples, and it has access to marine resources, thanks to its extensive coastline and location within the Coral Triangle. The country also has significant potential for renewable energy, especially geothermal and hydroelectric power. Forests, once abundant, have been depleted due to deforestation, but reforestation efforts are ongoing. As of 2025, the Philippines maintains a mixed economy that is one of the fastest growing in Southeast Asia. Current demographics. As of 2025, the Philippines has a population of approximately 115 million, making it the 13th most populous country in the world. Key demographic features include young population, median age is around 25 years, and a very high literacy rate, above 96%. Its ethnic groups are predominantly Austronesian, Tagalog, Cebuano, and Ilocano, with minorities including Chinese, indigenous Lumad and Aita peoples, and Muslims, Moros, in Mindanao. About 80% are Roman Catholic, 10% Protestant, 6% Muslim. Urban migration has led to the rapid growth of cities like Metro Manila, Cebu, and Davao. The Philippines is known for its natural beauty and draws millions of tourists annually. Top destinations include Boracay for its white sand beaches and nightlife, Palawan for its pristine islands, limestone cliffs, and the Puerto Princesa underground river. Tourists enjoy Cebu for its historic sites, beaches, and diving spots, and Bohol for its chocolate hills and tarsiers. Ecotourism, diving, and cultural festivals are significant attractions. Post-pandemic recovery in tourism has been strong, supported by government campaigns and infrastructure investments. The Philippines today is a nation shaped by centuries of colonial influence, resilient against adversity, rich in culture, and on a path toward greater regional and global prominence. From its ancient roots to its modern ambitions, it remains one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic countries. Please share your knowledge about the Philippines, and thank you for liking this video and subscribing to this channel.